The way JJK looks has changed a lot. For example, take our favorite character Gojo. In Season 1, he was always so clean and glossy with harsh shadows all over, and here he is in Season 3, stylized with minimal shading. It was a gradual but noticeable shift in both art style and directing that led to the visual style of the JJK we have today. But this week's episode of JJK did something interesting. The depiction of the Zenin clan's eradication utilized a 3-act structure that gradually shifted its visual style from the most grounded that JJK has ever been to the most abstract, stylized, and surreal it's ever been, and I thought that was super cool. This opening act is some of the most grounded and realistic feeling anime directing that I've seen since Chainsaw Man Season 1. Immediately opening with a natural feeling composition with our subjects placed off to the side as though the camera is a casual observer looking into a room where a casual conversation is taking place. The muted colors enhancing the slow, quiet nature of the conversation between Naoya and Maki. Naturalistic shots like these permeate the first act, whether it be Maki barely visible in the doorway of the dimly lit hallway, or the grainy footage of her and Megumi talking in an empty waiting room. But it's not just the naturalistic composition that makes this act feel so grounded. It's also the slow, methodical depiction of mundane actions. Naoya's feet rolling on the piano, Maki nervously rubbing her fingers, her slow walk down the hallway spinning the keys on her finger, a minute-long shot of Naoya and Junichi just sitting and talking, Maki's dad slowly walking as he drags his daughters on the ground, and Mai slowly meticulously examining her sister. This first act is extremely grounded. With Mai's death and Maki receiving her new body, we transition to the next act, a much more stylized act. The stylization doesn't just suddenly happen though, it's a gradual transition that happens in the lead up to Maki's fight against the Kukuru unit. Her silhouette walking against the purple background, shots looking up at her from under the ground, a colorful Zen garden under everyone's feet. The methodical actions of the characters are still present, but the way they're depicted is just slightly more stylized. But then the fight starts and things escalate from here. The first wave of action is plausibly realistic, a super fast assassin cutting people with their swords, but as Maki throws her sword in the air, we enter the truly stylized realm. Black and white with red blood, groups of people being thrown in the air, the camera locking onto the head of a man as he falls to the ground, a spinning disc turning men into splattered blood, a shot orbiting Maki with loose character outlines, blood splattered on the walls, blood pouring out of countless men falling as Maki chops off their legs and skates on the blood like ice, swinging her swords wildly with seemingly no damage until everyone simultaneously drops to the ground. We go from a grounded opening act to a stylized second one. And now the visuals get crazy, as we completely abandon any sense of groundedness. Maki swimming in an ocean of blood, fighting Nobuaki in a void-like realm as he points his sword with dozens of shadows behind him. Runta's paralyzing gaze shifting the colors to blue and red as Junichi pops into the frame in an instant. Hyperbolized flexing of Maki's muscles as a wavily drawn Junichi walks toward her to execute perhaps the most stylized thing JJK has ever done, with a set of giant fists appearing behind him, shadows flying overhead of Maki as they slam her into the ground, the impact leaving a cloud of dust in the shape of a rectangle. And of course we end with Naoya, warped backgrounds more punching in a void-like world, shattering the abstract glass of his curse technique, a sick shot of rough outline Toji, the world shifting to pink followed by an awesome depiction of Naoya's technique with a bunch of animation frames executing his movement as he punches the camera that's a stand-in for Maki, then an almost complete shift in art style as Naoya makes his final run toward Maki. There's just so much super cool stylized stuff that contrasts so unbelievably harshly against the first act's extremely grounded style, but this shift happens just gradually enough that this completely ungrounded action feels perfectly in line with the rest of the episode. I love it. And finally, we end with an epilogue, bringing the episode back to its grounded roots. All the fun action is now over, and we're finally back to grim reality. This season has been visually fantastic. What a cool episode. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.